I remember I had clients waiting. We opened the corporation 12, 18, 14, and I had people wanting to sign up that I told them, no, I'm not signing up till January 1st. So literally January 1st of our first year, we had like 5 clients sign up, just waiting for us to open the doors. So I think there was really a need, like we need a good property management company in town. And I think we just filled that need over time.
Today I'll be speaking with Nik Boone, owner of Ascend Real Estate and Property Management based out of Bakersfield, California. Nik grew his property management business to over 1,500 doors and also offers real estate services as well as home remodels and repairs. Nik was awarded the 2020 30 Under 30 by NAR. He was also a recipient of IREM's 30 Under 30 in 2018 and has grown his business to make the Inc. 5000 list and is now one of the fastest growing property management companies in the United States. Without further ado, let's get straight to it so you can start to learn from Nik and his journey in property management. Nik, thank you so much for joining me today. Just to kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience in property management, anything that you think would be relevant for us to know?
Yeah, so my name is Nik Boone. I founded and own Ascend Real Estate and Property Management here in Bakersfield, California. We have we just crossed over 1,500 doors under management, 26 employees. I started in the business selling real estate, and I had an investor when I was selling real estate buy an investment. He was from LA and asked me if I could manage his property. And at the time I was 19, and I was like, hey, I live with my parents. I don't know how to manage a property, let alone rent one. And he's like, well, we can figure it out together. And I was like, keep buying houses. I'll figure out whatever you need me to. Like, let me know. So that kind of just rolled into, he ended up buying 100 houses from me. And that was my start into property management.
Wow. So this was a big time investor, I'm guessing, if he's buying 100 houses.
I didn't know this at the time. I was super naive. I just graduated high school. I was in a beat up pickup truck, and so he essentially pulled some family funds together and some friend funds. And this was when the market was 2010, 2011, rock bottom for Bakersfield. And he just started making cash offers on as many things as he could find that cash flowed. Okay.
And was he, your first 100 doors, was it all from him, or was this over time that he eventually built that up?
Initially, he had raised some money and then spent it quickly. So I think when we started, I think it was 30 or 40 doors from him. Okay.
So you basically started off with 30 or 40 doors from this one investor. And then where did you, let's go to the trajectory of the business. So let's go from 30 to 100. What else did you do to start bringing in more doors? What did that look like?
When I had him, I was going to college full time. I was selling him houses, which was full time because he would make 20 offers at a time, showing his rentals. And then I still had other real estate clients as well. And my wife, now my girlfriend then, still enjoyed seeing me also. So I was spread thin. I went to him one day and I was managing him for free, and because he was buying houses and I was making the commission. So I was like, I'm good doing it for free, helping you out. And I said, hey, I can't do this. We need to do something. He's like, well, why don't I pay you $25 a month for the houses and you hire somebody? I was like, that sounds like employees sound easy. I would love to do that. So I hired my first person. She would TC my files, and then she was managing the rentals. And she came to me one day and she said, hey, everything's full. There's no maintenance. I don't know what you want me to do. I can sit here and you can pay me, but what do you want me to do now? And so I was like, well, we can either be a property management company, or I think it's time to just send him somewhere else to have a legit company do this. We can do it, but we're guessing at most of this stuff. We called a bunch of places, me and the investor together, because I wasn't gung-ho on starting a property management company. And there was the market was rough for property management companies. And we had learned together that they're not going to crush it. And so I was like, let's just...
What year is this?
2011, 2012 maybe. No, this was 2013, 2014. So this had been a couple years into it. So then we just said, hey, let's start it. So we started it. First year, we grew another 100 doors.
And you grew another 100 doors not from this investor, from...
Correct, yeah.
Okay. How did those doors come to be?
I think initially they came because there was just a necessity. I remember I had clients waiting. We opened the corporation 12, 18, 14, and I had people wanting to sign up that I told them, no, I'm not signing up till January 1st. So literally January 1st of our first year, we had 5 clients sign up, just waiting for us to open the doors. So I think there was really a need, we need a good property management company in town, and I think we just filled that need over time.
Okay. As you started to grow, What would you say there was a point where it was like, okay, the way we're running things at this point isn't working? Because most people say around that 200, 300 door mark. I don't know if it was the same for you. What was your experience with that?
Oh yeah, that mark was big. We were my biggest thing was I've always been pretty detailed in the accounting, and
Okay.
or so I thought. First year we lost like 35 grand, and I didn't know it. I was like, there's money coming in, there's money going out. I'm still selling houses, so essentially all the sales were funding this losing business. So then the next year after I did my taxes, the first year I was like, hey, I don't know much about business. I know that losing money is not great. So then the next year we made 35,000. So for 2 years I basically made nothing. But we were growing. I kind of had the vision of like every year I would like, if I can get to this many doors, I would make money. That number is a lot farther than anybody really thinks it is. Like 200 or 300, you can make a little bit of money, but it's rough.
What would you say the kind of magic number was for you?
Once we like doubled that, I would say 500 or 600. It was really, we weren't worrying about the lights staying on.
Okay.
At under 300, I literally sold. I had a street bike, and I sold my street bike to pay for payroll.
Okay. And why is it that at that point, like what, because there's obviously there are companies out there that have 200 doors, 300 doors that run a really lean operation and are profitable. So why do you think for your business that wasn't the case?
My vision was always to have it operate without me.
Okay.
And so those businesses for sure can be operable and make money and do all of that. The owner operator is doing every day. They're saying, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, can you take care of this? Hey, will you call this person? I mean, they're very involved. I would assume at 200 or 300 doors.
Yeah, generally that's the case for sure.
So that wasn't my vision. I had always wanted to have, I call it a real business. And I wanted a real business that when I left would grow, not just stay the same.
Fair. Which key position did you hire that allowed you to do that?
Well, first it was just answering phones. I mean, before I had somebody, my phone would ring. I mean, I remember one story. We put a sign up one time and my phone number was wrong by one letter. The person that they were calling shut their phone off and changed their number after 3 days because of how many phone calls they were getting. And so it was just this mass amount of like, I was like, hey, I gotta, like, this can't keep happening. So that was the first thing I did. Obviously, then maintenance came. That was the next big thing because tenants have maintenance issues constantly. And then we kind of just, I think I have the benefit of being really dumb and just saying like, let's try it. Like, I don't know if this is right or wrong. Let's give it a shot. So I would just hire and see. The first year I hired a marketing person or like a salesperson with we had 110 doors. And I was like, I need a salesperson to really grow this thing. And that was a flop. We didn't have any processes. She kind of just showed up whenever, so I was like, okay, well, that wasn't great. But I just figured all these problems.
Yeah. Generally, to have a salesperson, you also want to make sure that you have enough leads coming in for the salesperson to be working, right?
Learned that too.
Yeah. Got it. I guess on that subject, so you were able to scale to, sounds like a couple hundred doors pretty much through more or less like word of mouth and just there being a really big demand in the market that you service. And correct me where I'm wrong, but this is from what I'm understanding. At what point did you start investing more into the marketing of your business so that I assume today you have a salesperson at 1,500 doors? Like, when was the right point to hire that salesperson, and what did you do from a marketing standpoint to start to generate leads so that it did make sense to bring in a salesperson?
I'll say this all the time, I'm dumb. And so I literally sat back and said, we're getting referrals from people that know us. From people that have a connection to some property management company, we'll get a referral. If they have no clue who to contact, or a friend, or somebody in the business, like they just have no idea, what would they do? What would I do? And I was like, I would Google this phrase. And then I hammered SEO, Google reviews. And I was like, if I would do this, like I'm a pretty average guy, most people probably are doing exactly what I'm doing. And so I hammered reviews for years, even when it was like, hey, this is not getting any traction, like this isn't good. But we just push reviews. And so now we have, like on my Google, we have 1,300 reviews at a 4.6. For property management, that's
stellar.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. What would you do? Like, what were some strategies you used to get that many reviews?
Well, I would bonus the employees. So every time they got a review with their name on it, they'd get $20.
Okay. And just solely through that, they were able to generate that many reviews?
Well, and then this is 10, 11 years now, but yeah.
Yeah, so like anything, it takes consistent effort and aligning incentives, right? If you just tell your staff go and get reviews, they're going to be less inclined to do so than if you tell them, hey, every time you get a review, you're going to get an extra $20. Now they have a little bit more reason to do it, and it's something that makes them think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, to this day, we're pushing reviews. Like, we have marketing meetings about it, or we have multiple different places now. So, like, Zillow does reviews now, and Yelp does review. Like, now we're reviewed on so many different platforms. And last month, they were like, hey, you have like 5 reviews on this website you've never heard of? And sure enough, I read them, and they were like all like, I'm the worst person ever. I never fixed anything, all this stuff, right? And I'm like, I didn't even know this website existed, and we look horrible on here. So, just keeping the branding, keeping the mission, keeping our reviews looking how they should. And I mean, it's a battle we still fight 11 years later.
For sure. And part of it also, it does get a little bit easier to get reviews also when you have 1,500 properties you're managing, because you have more people out there that are willing to leave you a review naturally, right? So, but the important thing that you did was early on, you recognized I need to be aggressive with reviews. I need to constantly be asking for reviews, and I need to incentivize my staff to get those reviews. And by doing that over the period of a decade, that's allowed you to get to where you're at. And you keep saying that you're not very smart, but to be honest, most people don't think like that, right? You had the mindset of thinking in decades, not in months or years. And that type of long-term mindset, especially in an industry like property management, is invaluable.
Fair. And that was all my investor. He put me on to like investing and cash flow and all this terminology. I had no clue. And, because I was young and dumb and like, hey, I made 10 grand on a deal. Like, well, I'm going to buy a watch or, something dumb. And so that he was really pivotal in like, hey, where do you want to be at 30, 40, 50?
It's a really good lesson to learn when you're young. So at this point, you mentioned you had about 26 team members, if I'm not mistaken, right? Can you try to break down at least the key positions you would say that you have? And are they all locally based, or are you using offshoring? Like what does that look like for you?
All to in-house employees, all in my office right now. We basically have, at the big level, we have 2 divides. We have a construction and maintenance department, and then we have kind of the property management department. So we run crews. We have 7 or 8 guys right now, which is part of the 26. We have an in-house cleaner that comes in every morning, sees where she's going. We have an inspection person. All she does is move-outs, move-ins, photos, advertisements, 40 hours a week. So that's kind of that whole department. And then we have schedulers and all that. And then property management, we have my manager, which she kind of oversees everything, hires, fires, write-ups, payroll, all of that. We have a salesperson that takes all of our incoming leads. We get 60 or 70 a month now. We have a full-time marketing person that set this up with us. She does all of our branding, makes sure everything's kind of on point. Because the other thing, too, is 11 years, like our logo changed and our color tweaked a little bit. And we had all these different variations of the company out there. And it wasn't a consistent brand. And so she's really kind of taken on the branding. We have a leasing department. Maintenance is in the other side. I have this nice org chart right here. That's me.
Okay.
But that's pretty much the gist of it. And then we have 2 or 3 like front end, like we call them tenant relations, reception.
Okay. And are you managing it portfolio style or departmental? It sounds like departmental from what you're saying, but just okay. And I guess, what does your typical day look like? What's your role in the business at this point?
I am still pretty involved in the day-to-day operations. It's purely for choice, but I want to make sure we're making everything as efficient as it can. So we just brought a new software on this month to hopefully help my construction and maintenance department keep things a little tidier for inspections. So new softwares I'm looking at, obviously the P&Ls of the company, the balance sheet, I check often, cash flow, making sure that we're still great, and then just kind of overseeing how people are doing. Management, sales, are you busy? Are you not? Can you help out? Do you need help? Kind of like, where are we at in full amount?
Okay. And at this point, you mentioned early on it was really like one investor who kind of spurred your growth. At this point, do you prefer working with people who own multiple properties, or do you prefer working with clients that have a smaller number of properties, if you had to choose?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I looked at our average, and our average person owns, I think, like 3 units. So that's skewed, some own 60, 80, and some own 1, but
you're still set up pretty nicely from a risk standpoint, though. At 1,500 doors, where your average client owns 3 properties, you would need to lose a ton of clients to really impact your business.
Yeah, which is good. I would say, not my preference, but the people we get the most, we call internally, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, we call them mom and pop investors. Yep. Hey, I bought a house. I don't want to sell it. I want to rent it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me. Tons of those leads. And we've kind of just slowly filled that role. So we have a guy.
And are those primarily coming online or where? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say 65 to 70% online, never heard of us. And then we still get referrals, repeat business, stuff like that. Sign calls, we still get sign calls. Hey, this is my neighbor's house. I want to put mine up too.
Okay.
My preference, I think my preference would probably be the mom and pop investors. The goal, I think, of my company is to really help, like where people need help. And I think they need the most help. An investor knows what a property manager does. He knows what his goals are, what his returns should be, and we can certainly fulfill those needs. But the people that are just clueless, I had a 92-year-old come into my office, owned 8 units, never had a property manager, and these tenants, I mean, they have like worked him over pretty good for years. And to me, I'm like, he needs our help, you know? And he didn't ask for any like discounts. Like we gave him discounts, and we're like, please just let us help you. Like I can get you to where you need to be, but let me. And so those are like that feels good to me.
Okay. And how focused are you in terms of two things? One, the service area where you provide your service, and the type of properties that you manage.
We're more so service focused. There's a few areas we won't take on. It's far and few between. I grew up in a pretty rough area, so rough areas don't bother me at all. There are some where we're like, there's too much gun violence or gang, that I'm not going to send my girls to sketchy like that bad, but service is like we need to be answer the phone quickly. I track what % of calls we miss. Like I'm pretty we need to be the best at what we do.
Okay. And do you, in terms of location, is it just Bakersfield or
Kern County?
Kern County. Okay.
Yeah. So we had some outside of the county lines. I am a very big proponent, and I get asked all the time, hey, would you go up north or down south, or my belief that I think has gotten me so far is I am great at what I do. I am great at managing properties in Kern County. Amazing at it. I can't be touched. That's not true for San Francisco. I don't know the first thing about their laws or rent rates or could I figure it out? Sure. I'm not killer at it. I'm killer here.
That's fair. I see a lot of property management companies where they'll be at I've seen some even there at 25, and they're like, I need to expand to a different city, right? There's a lot of properties out there to be managed in your local market. Now at 1,500 doors, if you said I want to expand to another city, you have the size where it can make sense to do something like that. I'm not saying you should, but it can make sense. But we speak with a lot of companies where they're at 200, 300 doors, and they're thinking, I need to go to a different metro city to grow. I think you're living proof that that's really not the case. I mean, if you do one market or one county and you focus on the county and you're the best in that market, you can scale to past 1,000 plus properties. Do you manage solely single family properties, or are you also doing multifamily? What does that look like?
So we're mostly single family, and I say mostly single family considering duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Those are single family-ish. I know they're not, but we do have some apartments. We have a 40 unit, an 80 unit. So we have a couple of those, 6 units, 8 units, a ton of just the mom and pop. Hey, I have a house in a nice area. I don't want to sell it. A lot of that.
In terms of expansion, what are your plans for continued growth of the business?
So we have also, part of our growth has also been acquiring smaller property management companies. So those 200 to 300 people that you're talking about that have those doors, they get tired. They're older. They've been doing it 25 years. Tenants and owners can be rough. And so 25 years of dealing with owners and tenants wears on you. I come in, make them a great deal to make more per month than they're making now, plus a nice deposit. And, we've done 3 pretty good deals, and it's been successful for both parties.
What do those deals usually look like? Are you paying them per door? Are you paying them based off of their profit? What does that look like?
Big combination of everything. So I will kind of look on the back end at how profitable they actually are, how much they're actually bringing in an income, how many doors they have, how many owners, same thing, how diverse are they? If one owner leaves, is this company cut in half? So all of that I kind of look at, and then just, talk to them and see what their goals are. And I like to just meet with people in the industry, whether I'm going to buy them or not, or they hate me or we've had issue. Like, we're in this business together. Like, we have the same heartaches, we have the same problems. If I have a solution that might work for you, like, I'm an open book with them too. And I'm pretty good friends with most competitors here. Like, there's plenty of houses for us to all manage.
That's the nice thing. Property management industry in general is pretty, I guess we'll call it sharing. There's usually not too much big animosity between one competitor and another in most markets. I guess you've been in property management now for over a decade. What's the craziest story or experience that you've encountered over that decade?
A decade sounds so long. Hitting 30 is a hard realization. I think maybe the craziest one, this was in the early days and I was still showing rentals, and this property was supposed to be vacant. The tenant was there and the renter wanted to see it. We knocked on the door because the keys didn't work, and there was this naked couple inside, like just having the time of their life.
Okay.
And the client was there. I was like, I don't know what you want. And they're like, I want to see the house. And I was like, oh, let's go see the house, I guess. So this naked couple toured us on my rental, and I left, and I was like, well, you wanted to see it, like you saw it all. So that was like, I was like, okay, like, wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's property management in a nutshell. You never know what's going to happen. So obviously you have a fairly sizable company at this point. I assume that you're cash flowing pretty nicely. How do you invest your money at this point? Is it all going back into the business? Are you investing outside of the business? If so, in what?
Yeah, so I do a little tiny bit of diversity. Most of my money goes into rentals. Okay. So I own about 50 rentals myself. And I looked at one this morning to buy. So that's kind of my retirement, because there's no retirement in this business. I also do fund an IRA. It's like a 401k. I'm sure you've heard of it. So I fund that to the maximum amount every year. My wife funds hers maximum as well. We have some 529s for the kids. We have 3 kids back here. And then we have like a brokerage that will fund monthly. All of those pretty peanuts compared to like the real estate portfolio that I own. But it's something to where I don't want 99% of my money in real estate. So now I have like 90. It's a little bit better, but
Yeah. So you've got basically, we'll call it 10% in equities, and then the other 90% is either in real estate that you're purchasing, or from what you said, also acquiring other property management companies to fuel the growth of your business.
Yeah.
Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, and like the company with the maintenance, we've needed vehicles. So we bought we bought the building we're in, so just kind of expanding and making the business have everything that it needs.
Okay. And you mentioned that you also do real estate sales, and you also, if I'm not mistaken, do contract renovations, right?
Yeah.
What percentage of, I guess, revenues does each of those divisions make up?
So the renovation and construction and maintenance department is more than 50%.
Are those fueled by the property management division?
Yes.
Okay.
So the construction renovation department is kind of its own standalone thing. We have some other clients that we work with. 95% of the business is from one client, which is us.
Okay.
So, and again, the need there was the clients needed a contractor that could do things quickly, cheaply, like get it re-rented as fast as we can do it. And so I didn't really start it to make money. We were charging $25 an hour and paying the guys 20.
Yeah.
Like we weren't making money on it. I just did it they needed help doing this. I can hire correctly, so I filled the need of what they needed. And then over time, we refined it, made the process pretty dialed, stuff like that. But the sales, probably like 5, maybe 10% of the income.
And are those primarily also being fueled by the property management division, where basically if someone wants to sell, you guys will sell it for them?
About half and half.
Okay.
So I still have like friends, family, clients that are like, hey, you helped me buy a house forever ago. Or, hey, I know you're in real estate, so those still trickle in. Some owners say, hey, I want to sell my management company. Obviously, can you guys do it? And then we also, like our marketing gal now, sends those out to all of our owners. Hey, we have a new off-market property. This owner wants to sell. It's already tenant occupied. So, we've had deals where somebody wanted to sell it with tenants, perfect price for another buyer. So I sold it to the new buyer, kept the tenant there with the management, made a commission, all internal. Yeah. Everybody was happy. The smoothest deal ever.
Yeah. So basically your property management company or division, although it's not responsible for over 50% of the revenues, it's what allows everything else to kind of exist. So in a way you can say the property management division is the business and everything else you've built up on top of that.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So if you could go back in time to when you started this journey, what is the one thing that you would change that you think would allow yourself to succeed at a faster rate?
I mean, I'm so big into marketing now. I would say marketing.
Marketing.
As big as we are and as big as in the market as we are, I have people come up to me like, oh, I've heard of this, I've seen your signs, and that feels great. Such a larger percentage have no clue who we are. As much as we put out there and have signs and try to do, like, the amount of people that actually know who you are is so much smaller than you think it is.
Yeah.
And when
The
I
world's
talk
a
to
big
people,
place.
yeah, and they're like, I didn't even know you existed. Like, I would have loved to have used you. And that to me is, I'm like, we need to not have that happen, you know? And that'll always happen, but just get your name out there as much as you can. I think people starting out, all they should be doing is marketing, going to events, getting their name out there, and like, that should be a majority of what they do all day.
Yeah, especially when you're starting out, like, that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you want to provide a good service, but if you only have 50 doors or 25 doors or even 100 doors, that there's only so much you're really going to make. And at the end of the day, yes, you want to be in business to help people, but you also will only continue to exist if you actually make money from it. Because no one's going to do property management because it's so fun and they feel like doing this after they retire, right? So yes, at the end of the day, especially if you're in the earlier stages, the majority of your time and effort needs to be spent on that. And I think you got to kind of follow like what Nick did, where as soon as you can, try to hire people that are going to help you with the operation side of things so that you can get out there and continue to sell, continue to market the business.
For sure.
So any departing words of advice you have for other property management company owners out there? You've obviously got a lot of experience and have built up a really successful company.
Thank you.
So,
no, I mean, you know, I'm always available for questions. I did another podcast and had somebody from Indiana reach out to me and ask me, and you know, I don't have anything to sell, but I'd love to help. And you know, just I think people hearing that people that have built a successful company have gone through the same struggles. You know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or you know, hey, it's, you know, maybe it's not for you, it's time to get out, or maybe it's not profitable, here's how you can make some more profit on what we do, or you know, stuff like that. So yes. I don't have any like big grandiose ideas or departing words, but you know, if somebody has questions or anything, I'm sure you can have like my info in somewhere.
What would be the best place for them to reach out?
They can email me, nikboone@gmail.com.
Perfect. Nick, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And this was a good one. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good.